Hey, my name is Dominique Jordan, at Dominique L. Jordan. I am the author of Teen Help and Information, a guide to conquering pre-adulthood for teens and parents, and also the Erlonan Tales, the Destined Child, right here on Jerry Royce Live.
Hello, and thank you for stopping by. I'm your host, Jerry Royce, and welcome to Positive Power 21 Network, where you get your positive on. This is a worldwide podcast for growth, wealth, and success. Thank you.
Positive Power 21.org, Internet Radio.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us, and welcome to Jerry Royce Live on PositivePower21.org. I am the voice of Jerry Royce, and when it's all positive, it's all power. That's Positive Power 21. And today's sponsors on Positive Power, the Resume Guide at www.career-image.com. Again, that's www.career-image.com. And those for people who have a resume just not getting the job done. You contact the Resume Guy as soon as you can. Because remember, the resume gets you the interview gets you the job. And there's a lot of jobs going to be opening up pretty soon, so you may want to get on it right quick, okay? And also we want to give our condolences to the owner of FastTechSolutions.net. He lost his grandmother this week, and he's a very dear guy, and he's been really good to our company. We just want to give our condolences to the Serrano family out in the Philippines. And again, that's FastTechSolutions.net. They're based in the Washington, D.C. area. But again, we want to give our condolences to the Serrano family. All right, let's move forward. Again, everybody, we want to say thank you, everybody, for entertaining my dad and my brother out at Cambridge, Maryland. They did a presentation, a fantastic presentation at the Harriet Tubman Conference, the Underground Railroad Conference that was held June 13th and 14th, celebrating her 150 years after her death. And they had a fantastic keynote speaker and a lot of workshops, and people got a chance to understand the real value that Harriet Tubman had to our people. All right, she was something else. And also I want to thank the people at Success Revolution Conference. Agnes Akatun, she was the sponsor of that event on June 14th in Columbia, Maryland. I had a fantastic time meeting some of the authors that we'll be bringing on this show pretty soon, life coaches, people who will help you make a difference in your life. And they had a fantastic elevator pitch. I say it may have been one of the best elevator pitches I ever heard. They were waiting for me, I must say, and it was live. All right. And again, I want to thank all my past guests that we had this week. Kyle Rodriguez. We want to thank Andrea Freeman, Lisa Evans, Tanya Barber, and also yesterday's show we had my man Ronnie Dawson. He had a fantastic presentation about his publishing company. So you want to check out that show. And Pamela Samuel Young, old friend back in 07, 08 when I had my show on the internet back then. She did a fantastic job. She has 2 books out there on her website, and you can get her at PamelaSamuelYoung.com. All right? And let me not forget about Brittany Williams, the beautiful Brittany Williams, the multi-talented Brittany Williams. She did a fantastic show also, and all that is out there for you to check out. And tonight we had Ashley Humphrey, young Christian poet and author, just released a piece in a compilation of poetry that's out there now. Was mentioned in the show, so check the show out. I can't give you all the information, so check the show out. Also, she read 3 pieces that really blew me away. So you look for us to have her back on, just doing a straight few hours of poetry with a group of other young ladies who are also spoken word authors. So that's going to be all coming to PositivePower21.org. I'm just so excited about all this good stuff that's going to be coming into the podcasting. Because Dominique Langston, did you know there's over 70 million podcasters worldwide? And then it's me. So anyway, we got Dominique Langston Jordan on the show. Let's read his bio, get him out here, get him talk. We have no restrictions today on the show. It's just him and I. and the clock. So it's Dominique Langston Jordan. He's the editor of the Teen Help and Information site in the family category of BellaOnline.com. Again, that's BellaOnline.com. A strong believer in the success of teenager. He is the author of Teen Help and Information, a guide to conquering pre-adulthood for teens and parents. He is also the author of the young adult fantasy novel entitled, I guess it's the Erlonan. Man, I should have asked him about that title. Erlonan.
Yep.
Okay, Tales. Good. The Destined Child. Dominique feels that he can inspire teens and their loved ones into a better tomorrow by presenting information that is relatable, trustworthy, and well-researched through active communication and an understanding heart. He believes in the overall well-being of today's youth. He has always loved the craft of writing, knowing that lives can be greatly impacted by a few carefully chosen words in a book, article, etc. is truly a wonderful thing. Dominique Langston Jordan, welcome to Positive Power, man. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Thank you for having me, man. It's such a blessing to be here to get to talk to you and just to share, the craft, man. It's truly an honor to be here.
Absolutely, man. I'm so glad to have you, man. Now, Langston, I'm going to call you Langston. Dominic, I'm looking at your website, man. You look like you're about 15 in this picture. Is this an old picture, man? You just you want the young girls to check you out? Is that what it is?
Yeah, but well, actually, that's actually a recent picture of me. Yeah, everybody tells me that I look so young, but you know what they say, man. Yeah, we don't age, but.
That's it, man. He sent me some baby pictures.
But yeah, I'm actually man. In my early 20s, so yeah, I get that a lot.
Yeah, you like my oldest son. He's 30, but people think he's like 20 or something like that.
Really?
Yeah, they sure do, man. That's why he always changing his hairstyle all the time, trying to look older. He can't grow no hair on his face, so that's the problem right there. All right, man. All right, like I told you early on, I do have a son named Jordan Dominique. And when I saw you, and I said, what the heck? I said, my wife chose his middle name. I wanted his middle name to be Dion, and she wanted to be Dominique. So I was like, okay, we let you slide on that. I know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a story. That's kind of sort of how my name came up too, because my dad, he's a basketball coach and a minister, and he wanted my name to be Dominique. Yeah, after Dominique Wilkins.
Right.
My mother's name starts with a D, and so she said, well, that's kind of good because I wanted it to be with a D as well. She said that's fine, but I want his middle name to be something, outside of athletics. So she chose, with the assistance of my aunt Langston, after Langston Hughes. Yeah, she's like, Langston Hughes is one of my favorite poets, so, we'll go with that one. And sure enough, years later, I like to write, and writing is one of my favorite things to do. I enjoy it.
That's powerful, man. That is powerful. What a story, man. Fantastic story. Now, Dominic, you're a very young guy, man. You really a caring guy, and you're a sharing guy, and that's what's so important, here, on the Jerry Royce Live Show is I like people to be caring and sharing. Now, you do a lot of sharing, man. Now what made you decide at a young age that you want to help somebody, man? Can you help yourself? That's the question.
That's the thing you always have to ask yourself. You can't help yourself. You can't help anyone else unless you help yourself. So one actually got started in this whole thing about sharing information with other people through this website called Bella Online in 2011. And that really has inspired me and helped me to inspire others, because I'm a firm believer that, I'm a prisoner of hope, and I refuse to be set free. And with that mentality, that allows you to help other people, give hope to others. And so in 2011, I was just Googled, writing jobs, because I was in college. I just graduated last year, and I was in college looking for a writing job. And so there was this volunteer position that came up when I looked for it on Google, and it was a volunteer writing job for Bella Online, and they were looking for a teen site editor, someone who could write about teen issues reach out to people and tell them about different issues concerning modern-day teenagers. And so I just went for it. I applied, and I got the job. And they obviously liked the writing sample that I sent in. And, I've been with it ever since. And this new book that I have, Teen Help and Information, that was published earlier this year, I just recently published it. Well, it's basically a compilation of some of the articles, not all of them, but some of the articles that I published, through that duration of time. And I've had, a lot of tremendous feedback from people, saying, this is great. Keep doing it.
Yeah, that is fantastic, man. Now, I'm going to ask you, I guess you can answer this question when you finish with the first answer, BellaOnline.com, exactly what that is. But before you tell us that, tell us a little, about your background, where you went to school, your upbringing, and your love for writing. Okay? Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, well, I actually developed my love for writing when I was younger. When I was a kid, around 7 years old, my parents, they gave me a journal, and they said, basically just write down anything, that you see, trying to develop some creative side of me. And basically that's what I did. I wrote about, things going on in my neighborhood, what would I do outside that day, and basically like things of that nature. And that love of writing never left me. And when I was 14 in high school, I began writing more and more, and that love of writing eventually continued when I graduated from college. I currently reside here in Georgia, and I went to school here in Georgia and graduated last year. And that's what my parents always instilled in my sisters, and I have two younger sisters, and their names all start with D as well. So, yeah, so it's 3 Ds. Yes, but that's who my parents are. They just kind of instilled in us, be a leader, not a follower, and whatever you choose to do it, excel at it, and do it well. And so that's just what we do. You gotta instill hope in the kids and whatever hope that you inspire in them. You have to make sure that they go through with something and not do anything halfway through. And so that's what they did. They really placed a big value on education and just being the best person that we could be.
That's right. Amen.
Amen.
What school did you graduate from, Dominique?
Oh, I went to East Georgia College, which is a community college here in my hometown for 2 years. I graduated from there in 2010 with my associate's degree in English literature. And after that, I transferred my credits to Georgia Southern University, which is a school right down the road from East Georgia College, my hometown. And they were sister colleges, so I just transferred my credits there. And I graduated from there with my bachelor's in English literature. And right now I'm currently working in the school system in my hometown. So I work with young people every day, basically teaching them and guiding them and, trying to get them on the right path, because it's difficult. Like, it's something that needs to happen,
That's right, man. Wow, man. So you came right out of the gates, man. As soon as you finished college, you didn't say, okay, let me go work in private industry, see, how they make their money. No, you went, because a guy like you with your background, because I've been in technical, work for a long time in publishing, and now I'm with the government. It's a lot of value to writers, man. You don't have a lot of people that really write well. Where because like we deal with a lot of policy, it's a social insurance part of the government where we're dealing with, disability and retirement insurance, and they don't have a lot of good, people who want to write, for one.
Right.
So it's a lot of value with your skill set. So, if you get tired of teaching, they don't appreciate you no more, then, where you can go, you head on out here to D.C., man, in Baltimore, get in federal government. That's right. Look for speech writers and you name it, man. They would love to have somebody with your craft, man. So think about that. If the kids
I definitely will. Absolutely.
Out of control. Because my mom was a school teacher, and I know what you guys go through, but it's going to be some kids that's going to be, it's going to make the whole experience rewarding, and then there's going to be some like, oh, man, why did I do this? I'm not a babysitter. I didn't go to school to know how to babysit nobody, but, hey, you got to do what you got to do, right? All right, good, man. Now, I want to ask you this. Now, tell me a little bit about before you tell me about Bella Online. Tell us a little bit about your parents, man. You know, what was their upbringing like, and why was education so important to them?
Oh yeah, well, both my parents, they're actually educators in the school system as well. So apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. But
yeah.
education start with my father. He was born and raised in Georgia as well. Raised Georgia, small town, and his parents were my grandfather. He worked in the schools. He was a mechanic. Well, he was a mechanic, and then my grandmother, she worked in the cafeteria of the school system. So, granddad, in those days, had a little bit more of a sixth grade education, but then, he basically instilled all his kids, do the right thing, and, you'll go far. And when my dad was, in high school, he got a scholarship to school in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, basketball scholarship, and he, because he's always loved basketball, and that's what he currently does now. He was the head boys basketball coach at my high school, and they and when he retired from the high school setting, he went to the local college that I went to here in East Georgia College, and he's currently the head men's basketball coach there. And so he works with kids, all over the country, bringing them here and getting them education and instilling them with life values through the sport of basketball, and so he enjoys that. He's a minister as well. He's a pastor, and he's doing that as well. And he's a man of God, and he's one of my role models. Yeah, my mother, she's the same way. She was actually born and raised in South Carolina, and her mother was a hairdresser, and her father worked in a factory. My grandfather worked in a factory, and so he also instilled education in their children as well. And they didn't have any boys; it was 6 girls.
Wow.
And 6 girls, and they all went to college and got educated, and they have jobs now, and they have children and lives of their own. And so my mother, she was a teacher for almost 30 years, and she's an instructional coach now, which basically, she basically teaches the teachers, on different strategies on how to better educate the students.
That's right.
Yeah, and so, like I said earlier, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and that
that's right.
Education, is real important.
Beautiful, man. It's a beautiful family, man. So I'm glad to hear that positive news, man, about, the whole family is on one accord. And that's like they said, the tail and the head, man, it's important for it all to come together. All right. That's right. Kudos to your dad, man, and your mom, I know they're proud of you and your sisters. All right. Now, you got to tell me about Bella Online. I'm not familiar with them now. Now, you said they're associated with doing teen help information site stuff. Tell a little bit about that.
Okay. Well, actually, Bella Online is a website. They proclaim themselves as a volunteer website, and it's just basically a group of people from all over the country and, well, really all over the world who come together and dedicate their time and their talent to producing articles with no monetary compensation. They don't get paid for it. We don't get paid for it. We just dedicate our time and talent every week to producing articles to help other people. And a lot of these people are, they're professionals, but they do, this kind of writing on the side, just to get extra exposure and to show what they know. Because, these are just people who love writing, and their title is Bella Online, the Voice of Women. But really it's dedicated to women and their families, and basically men, women, and their families and children, just everyone. And so anyone, doesn't matter who you are, you can come to this site, and they have I happen to dedicate myself to the teen site because that's what I've been assigned. But they have different topics, like movies and films, and even subjects about divorce and parenting and all that kind of stuff. And so any topic you basically name, they have someone who can write about it, and who's an expert in the field. So that's what it's all about.
That's right, man. One thing good about those kind of websites, that was one of the things that we used to do when we was launched. We had a literature website where people were allowed to submit short stories and write regular articles if they like. That they can use that for employment purposes, because people always want to see your writing or what you've been doing all this time, watching Netflix. So they want to know, and if they see that you are actually producing these nice products, these nice pieces every week, they say, hey, this is a working man right here. So it tells a lot about you. That is fantastic, man. All right. We know a little bit about you now. We know what you're doing. You're a strong believer in teenagers. Now, why your heart so set on helping teenagers? I mean, are you more focused on the boys or the girls? What area is your most stronger area of concentration?
Well, I really don't have a specific area as opposed to gender when it comes to like who I'm talking to. I just like to talk to teenagers in general because I deal with on my website and in the book as well. I talk about a myriad of topics like that relate. I think, in my opinion, can relate to both boys and girls. Like I talk about the value of community college and how to control stress and how to prepare for the SAT. And I even have an article that talks about teen pregnancy in the media. And just different subjects I think that a lot of teens can benefit from. Doesn't matter if they're a boy or a girl. If you have troubles or if you're looking for some sort of inspiration, there's a source out there and a community that can help you, get through it.
Good. Now, it's a lot of press out there right now from the Obama administration. Got slammed a little bit by I guess it was over 1,000 women's signatures expressing why he doesn't have the same equal focus on young ladies than the young boys. But I think early on his administration, when he first launched My Brother's Keeper, they knew that the numbers of young men in college was a staggering number that was embarrassing to black professionals. When anytime your other numbers are higher, women kind of outnumber us by so much in college. I mean, it's been like this since I was in school in the 80s. So it's even more ridiculous now, and I can imagine, especially with the colleges being so expensive. What's your feeling about that, Dominique? Even though you say you're both equally working with the genders, how you feel about it? What's your opinion?
Well, I think the critics of President Obama are just greatly misinformed. I think the Black Men's Initiative that he created was created for a reason. Because, like you said earlier, the numbers are just staggering. The cost of going to college and the way to get an affordable education is just it's ridiculous right now. Like so many college students are coming out of college with so much debt. It's almost we teach our kids the value of education, but not a lot of them can afford it. So in the Black Men's Initiative, like the numbers are pretty staggering. Like that, I think there should be a lot of emphasis on the importance of the image of an educated black male, especially in America. A lot of the media doesn't want to pay attention to that, but those images and to those examples. But I think it's important that those examples need to be focused on. The women do, even though the women do primarily outweigh the men in those situations, the men need to be highlighted as well because they need to be set as an example, of what can happen, of what you can do. And I think it's a great initiative that he's taking on and that the Obama administration has done. I think it's great.
That's right. And I'm fortunate that I was in position myself with the federal government that I was able to, talk to some of the higher ups. And then later on I found out that our agency was actually part of an adopted school program, and we actually had an outreach component within our communications department, which I was part of at the time, and we were able to make it an initiative, which means we can, participate in the events that go on at the school and help them enhance the ones they already have in place and put more in place. And that's one of the things I'm supposed to do this summer is to sit down with the administration and try to put some more events in place monthly for some of the young boys. When we don't omit the young ladies, because I had visited the school like the past 2 years, and when I go into some of the mentoring classes or the tutoring, all I saw was the young ladies being tutored by other women, like they were from various colleges in the Baltimore area, and I'm like, well, where the guys at, and then I was part of a lecture series with a group of guys that was in a group called an AVID program, which were guys who were being exposed to the college life early on. They would everything that the curriculum was designed for them to go straight to college, and the numbers were really, really high, the ones that went through the program. But then I found out that I said like 93% of the guys in that program were athletes. They were track stars or football stars, basketball stars. So they, that's like their prerequisite is to do high school sports, then go to college and do sports, and then hopefully, if it works out, you can have a chance for professional work.
Right.
Right. But what about the guys that's like, oh, I'm studying music, I want to be a computer programmer? It's like it wasn't a lot of push in those areas. So that's why I came in. I said, okay, let's bring some professional men in there so these guys can say, hey, oh, that's the guy I want to be like right there. I'm not on TV, but I'm in your classroom right now telling you that I make enough money that I can afford to take care of my family, own a home, drive a decent car, take 1 or 2 vacations a year, and we can sit down and talk about it. So that's what we was trying to do, expose them to as many professional African American males that I can get to volunteer, and we was pretty successful, man. We had 2 events. All events went over super well. Everybody was pretty blown away about it. Even the volunteers was even more excited than the young kids were. We even exposed the 8th graders to the program who will be going to the school the next year. So that was so fantastic about it. But enough about me, man. Now, do you have any programs that's in the school right now other than what you're doing with Bella and your 2 books? What else you got going on?
Well, really, that's what I've been focusing most of my time on right now since out of the school system, right where I am now. We're out for the summer. Yeah, so we don't have a lot.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, we're out for the summer, but during the school system, we're mostly focusing on, academic achievement and how we can better the students. And so, but right now I'm just mainly focusing on, writing and getting the information out there and producing more articles so I can further inspire young people.
That's right. All right, man. Well, we're at the top of the hour right now, just in time. I guess my little 3-minute pitch got us there. Let's talk about Teen Help Information Guide. What would a parent find in that book that's useful?
Well, a parent, I think, would find a lot of things that are useful in this book because, like I said, like the book's title suggests, it's a guide to conquering pre-adulthood for teens and parents. So, not just, it's not only teenagers that can pick this book up, it's the parents as well. And the description of it is for anyone who is or has ever been a teenager. So I think that anyone, not just teens but parents as well, can relate to this. And there are a lot of things that parents can pick up. There are some things in here like what are the warning signs of, kind of talk about like the warning signs of anorexia, or how do you recognize when a teen is being bullied, not just not just in the classroom, but on the internet as well, because bullying is a huge epidemic right now, and it's happening not just in the classrooms right now; it's everywhere.
It is, man.
Yeah.
And it can happen to anybody too, man. I mean, anybody.
That's right.
Yeah, any age. You're out there just trying to have a good time, and bam. And then one thing about written words, I remember my martial arts teacher told us, man, he said there's 3 things you can't take back: a fired gun, a released arrow, and a spoken word.
That's right.
I was like, man,
words are powerful.
That's right. It's like it can kill. People are jumping off buildings, putting guns to their head, taking pills because of something that 1 or 2 people have said to them.
Right. Yeah. The words have the power of life and death. And I was watching a program about Maya Angelou. She recently passed, and they had a memorial service and everything. And there was a program on television where she said that words powerful. You know, you have to watch the words you say because the words are like things. They get in the walls and into the floors and then to your house and then to your clothes, and eventually they get into you. And she said that. You know, this wonderful, she said that. Wonderful word, wonderful person, wonderful, you know, icon of literature said those words. Words get in the walls and they get into you eventually. So that's she was providing the power of that, and it was amazing.
Yes. Wow, I'll never forget that, man. I'm glad you shared that, man. Wow. That was pretty deep, you know, especially to pass down to some young people, man, that we be mentoring. All right, good read. They said this guide, this is what you have on your website, this guide is to help ensure the success of teens and their parents in conquering the pitfalls of teenage life. Why is teenage life so tough? I mean, you weren't, you know, it wasn't so long ago you were a teenager. What do you remember that was so tough about the teenage life?
Well, like you said, it wasn't that long ago when I was a teenager. I'm only in my early 20s. I'm 24 exactly. But you know, being a teenager is hard, especially nowadays, because, you know, everyone's plugged into social media. Everyone's connected at the same time, every time, all the time. And, you know, it seems like even though the problems that I faced as a teenager, it's like they haven't gone away. They've only exacerbated and excelled more at a more steady pace. It's like problems with that a lot of teens are going through, like problems with self-esteem, you know, peer pressure, that kind of thing, you know, test-taking, nervousness, all accepting the end of a friendship. You know, it's difficult. They understand. A lot of teenagers say, well, you know, you don't remember what it's like to be my age, but a lot of parents, you know, can say, you know, actually I do. It's just that, you know, maybe I've forgotten.
That's right. You're right, man. You're right. I mean, because you're going through so much, man. You know, the peer pressure. I was talking to a coworker today, man, and I'm not sure, you know, how popular tennis shoes are. You know, tennis shoes is a big thing in the black community. It's always been, before Jordan came along. Dominique, way before he came along, it was a golfer named Jack Purcell. I don't know if your dad told you about this, man, but it was a guy named Jack Purcell that was a golfer. I don't even think he was the best golfer in the world, but cause you always hear about the Jack Nicholson and the Tiger Woods, of course, but, you know, you go way back. This cat, he's still alive, too. I think I looked him up. His shoe today, the same shoe I wore when I was, I guess I was in the 3rd, 4th grade when it became popular. It sells for $80. I remember we paid $9.99 for that shoe. It was canvas. Wow. Yeah, I think the canvas one sells for $60, and the leather one has $80 on it. And man, all it was like a fish head or shell head they used to call them before, and he put this little line on the tip, a little 2-inch line in the middle, like a lip of a fish. And that was it was called Jack Purcell's by Converse. And they were $9.99, and you can get them in burgundy, red, black, white, blue, you name it. Most popular one, of course, was blue and the black. And the slick kids, who parents dealt out the money, bought them, you know, a color version. They bought them all white. You know, you wore them when you went out. Man, I remember my dad used to buy my brother and I one pair a year. And you had to make that. And you talking about playing sports, you had to make it last. It was made out of canvas, man. So I remember how the kids that were on Section 8 or they had one single parent household, those guys had like 2-3 pairs of shoes, man. And you know how it made you feel? You're on the playground and you know, these guys are sporting another fresh pair. Right. You know, to me, I remember that really, really to this day, you know, what it felt like not to have those $9.99 shoes. And how I felt when my dad took me to go get them. I remember he took us on this street called North Avenue. As a matter of fact, the store was called Jerry's. And he took us there every year, you know, to get our shoes. Man. Wow. So I can just imagine how a kid felt today that would probably never own a pair of $220 pair of Michael Jordans, man.
That's right. It's the same thing. Just as it was back then, it's the same thing today. Yeah. He's like,
so what are you telling your kids? So Jordan, when you see this in the classroom, the kids who don't have these things, and you wrote these in your article. What are you saying, to this type of epidemic with the tennis shoe craze with the black families? That's a problem.
Yeah, right. And I really haven't thought about it that much, but you do that make a really valid point. That a lot of kids, their families can't afford these certain types of things. But then again, a lot of kids' families, they can't. A lot of people are just basically, trying to put pay bills and put food on the table. You tell your kid, I'm sorry I can't get this for you, this month, but, we have some things are better than others. But I just tell them, keep, as long as you have an identity about who you are and stay true to who you are, then I know it's tough that, you feel like you have to have a pair of, the next big thing that's out there, but fads come and go. But, that kind of thing. And so I basically try to stick with that mentality. Yeah, but it's nice to have the new thing, but the new thing eventually becomes old.
Man, but I just remember just how much pressure that was, man. Going through that time. So basically, when you was growing up, it was the same thing. So what was the hot shoe? When you were coming up, was it the Jordan still?
It was the Jordan, yeah. Everybody, like the Jordan just never went away. It was, everybody. If you had one pair of them, I think that LeBron's a new guy, so they got his shoes now, yeah. And so it's the next big star. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's the next big star. But it's funny because my kids are my son is 11, Jordan, little Jordan, and my daughter's 13, and she's into them. She knows more about these sneakers than both my son and my oldest son actually was marketing them coming out of China or Japan somewhere, and then he was triple the price, and he was selling them to these guys in Florida for like $300-400, and he paid like $80 for them. It was crazy, and he did that but his Connect is no more now. I don't know what happened to the cat, but he lost his Connect. But it's like these guys I went on the website, and I can believe the collectors of these tennis shoes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a big thing, man. It's a really big thing.
Yeah. So like I said, I thought that was the beginning to me of the bullying back, when I was growing up, in the 70s, when everybody couldn't afford to have. And I remember when Nikes came out and when they were leather, 'cause they didn't have nobody signed at the time. They didn't have Jordan signed, and they were struggling, selling these heavy tennis shoes for people to play basketball in. But but I remember, they were stylish. You could get them in different colors, and then black people really, at one time I remember I was working for a finance company, and my boss was a white guy. I remember his name was Mr. Thompson. He was reading this, and he said, Jerry, did you know this? He said the Foot Locker, I think he said Foot Locker, one of them foot athletic stores over at Mondawmin was the highest grossing tennis shoe apparel retailer in the United States. Wow. At Mondawmin Mall, which is like in the middle of, it's like just a few miles outside of central Baltimore, where it's like in the middle. It's more west side than east side, but all the buses, a lot of people didn't know that, but every bus that travels through the city stops at this mall. It's like the hub. Yeah, it's like the hub. It's almost like the way Union Station is to D.C. I'm not sure how it is, how y'all transit system work there, but every bus, no matter what number it comes into this hub, and Mondawmin is where they sell these really expensive suits. You get any kind of jeans, shoes, tennis, anything you name. They said, he told me that was the highest grossing retailer in the country.
Wow.
It was phenomenal. Yeah, and he said that was written, I think, in Fortune magazine.
Wow, so they really made it up there.
Yeah, right. And you're talking about when people got their paychecks once a month, they were heading to this mall to buy their kid one of these branded shoes. Whether it was Allen Iverson, Jordan, LeBron wasn't around then. Shaq had a shoe. Magic Johnson had a shoe. I can't remember. I think Deion Sanders had a shoe. He was one of the few football and baseball. Griffey had them. So it's like wow. And a lot of these guys had them all, man. But I think to me that was the time when kids were really, black kids were really faced with pressure, man. You know, it's not the popular kid who's smart. You know, it's the popular kid who has the most pair of tennis shoes.
Yeah, the best gear on. Yeah, the best pattern. Yeah. Right.
There you go. So so I know sometimes being a counselor, a youth advocate can be challenging. You know, when you're dealing with these kids whose parents just don't have it. They're just trying to keep the lights on. You know, some of our gas and electric bill is more than our car payments. It ain't like we driving that great of a car, most of us, you know. So I could feel some of the challenges with some of the teachers. All right, man. Look, we're gonna start talking about your other book because, man, we could talk about the bullying thing forever, man. There's all kinds of levels of, like you said, social media, just the way you look, the way you walk. Even the short guys are going through it versus the tall guys, you know. All right, let's talk about. And you said the book is pronounced the Erlonan.
The Erlonan Tales, the Destined Child.
The Erlonan. Where did that word come from? I'm not familiar with that word.
Yeah, it's actually a word that I kind of made up to describe the world that the novel takes place. It's a young adult, fantasy novel that the world is called Erlon, and so
you made it up. Okay.
Yeah, I made it up. It's the Erlonan Tales, and it's basically about this. It's basically like, you know, something like the Chronicles of Narnia or the Lord of the Rings. A lot of those novels that I grew up reading, you know, a lot of those novels were written years ago were taught to us in school, and they're by these old British authors. But, you know, they made movies out of them eventually, like early 2000s when I was coming up. But when I was looking at those movies, you know, like Harry Potter and all that kind of stuff, Harry Potter, and like there really weren't a lot of main characters, you know, that looked like me.
Right.
Not a whole lot of African American leading characters. And so I originally wrote this story when I was in high school, actually when I was 14. And I remember I wrote the manuscript in one semester. Yeah, and I actually kept it for a long time, and I just never stopped writing. And it wasn't until actually last February, that a small independent publisher called Silvertongue Press discovered me on Facebook and asked me if I wanted to contribute a manuscript because they had seen the work that I had done through Bella Online. And so I said, yeah, you know, I've been writing this manuscript for years, and it's actually a series of unpublished manuscripts. It's just that the first one has been, this one that I'm talking about now is the first one of a series, and the series is unpublished, yeah. So I'm working that, trying to work that now. And it's basically about a young boy he's 7 years old, but he grows up in this world. He's originally from New York, but he grows up in this world called Erlon. He's taken there from his family, you know, in New York, from everyone he loves, while he's on vacation in Atlanta. And it isn't until years later in this new world that he discovers, when he's a teenager, that he discovers that he's part of an ancient prophecy of a destiny. And that's actually where the caption comes from, the Destined Child. It's like, no matter, that's the other subtle message to the young person who's reading this novel, is that no matter who you are, you have a destiny. You are the destiny. You are a destined child. And so that's the story of the novel, and it has a lot of fantasy elements in it. You know, like huge birds, and there's a palace, and it's a really great story. A lot of people have come to me and said, you know, wow, I didn't know you were doing this too. You know, along with the book, you were writing fantasy novels. You're like, well, come on, man, one at a time.
That's right, man. So is that what you plan to work on during the summer, the second piece, the second book to this?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The second book has already been published. I'm just trying to, well, not published, but it's already been written. The manuscript has. I'm just trying to get my publisher to really get it out to the people now and work on a cover and everything so they can set it up for next year's release. Because the process of this novel, it actually took 12. I signed a contract with Silvertongue Press in February, and this book was actually released. Amazon says it was May 26th, but it was really on June the 1st. So it's about a little bit over a year and some months, about 12 to 19 months, and that this whole process, that this book was published because we went through a cover design and proofreading and copy editing, chapter by chapter, page by page. I mean, it was a long process because we wanted to make sure that all our I's were dotted and our T's were crossed, So.
That's right, man. I understand. I know that whole process really, really well. Now, I know the challenges, young when you was writing the book was because you had other things going on, but the challenge for the second book, what were some of your major challenges for the second book and some hurdles that you had to take?
Oh, wow. Well, I think the hurdles of the second book is just, finding what to write about next. Like the main character's name, his name is Dean, and he's 15 years old, and he lives in this world where, it's a utopian civilization where, it's basically where every ancient civilization, every ancient culture is together in one place in this world, living peacefully and harmoniously. And it's basically like a very peaceful and heavenly place, but it's disrupted by this force that comes in and tries to destroy it. And it's really up to him to save the people from this chaos, from this force that's coming in trying to destroy it, this evil force. And so the second book is about the continuation of that journey. And, I can't really say too much about it yet because it's still in, production. But I really want people to get interested in the first one, which is the main story of how he got to where he was and how he discovered his destiny and how he survived everything that he endured. It's a really powerful story.
So did you entitle that book yet?
Yes, I have.
Yet? Right, what's the title? We can find it.
It's the second book.
Yeah.
The second book, it's still going to be called the Erlonan Tales because it's part of the Erlonan Tales series. But the second book is going to be called The Voyage for Paloma. That's the working title.
Good. All right. So now, were you a big fan of Star Wars and Harry Potter, those type series?
Not so much Star Wars, but I was a huge fan of like Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings, that kind of thing. I read all the books and I've seen all the movies, and they actually called the kids who like to read those types of books, they call them the Harry Potter generation. I've heard that before.
Right.
It's just a huge blessing that I've been given this creativity because it's just something that I love to do, and I love sharing it with people.
Amen. Now, tell us a little bit about that press. Now, where are they based at? The press you was talking about.
It's actually based in Nebraska. This Silvertongue Press. Yeah. Yeah. It's actually three writers who came together. They were part of Bella Online, and they came together and formed a publishing company. There were Lisa Shea, Beth Walker Armstrong, and Lisa Binion, Beth Walker Armstrong, and another person came together. Rebecca Graff, that's her name. They all came together and decided to publish this company. So they give other authors a chance because they know how hard it is. You submit, this query or book submission to a publisher. It gets turned down time after time after time. Where they basically said, let's take the power into our own hands and give some authors a chance. And it's just been a blessing. God has truly blessed me with this opportunity to meet these people, and I'm grateful for everything that they've helped me to do. Like later this summer, one of the publishers told me that they're trying to set up a launch, a blog tour, so I can go on different blogs and talk about what I'm doing. So, and they do that for all their authors too. Yeah, they do that for all their other authors as well. And so it's just
how many How many authors would you say that's under this publishing house?
I would say probably 10 to 15. Well, 10 at the most, yeah. It's very small, yeah.
Okay. So they deal mostly with paperbacks, and because I noticed that Destined Child is only in paperback, not Kindle.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, it's in Kindle as well.
Oh, is it? Okay, I may have pulled it up wrong, and I guess because I went under. Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm looking at it right now. I'm sorry. It is for $2.99 the Kindle edition, and then you have the paperback going for $9.08. That's not bad. How many pages are you looking at with this book?
Oh, the paperback version is 180 pages.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I believe the Kindle is somewhat similar to that, but Kindle, since it's electronic, it really doesn't have pages. It's all just a couple of documents, but that's what I believe it is. But it's really great. Yeah, and it's also on Barnes & Noble, and yeah.
Good. Now, sometimes you run into books like this, fantasy, science fiction books, fantasy books. They're like 300 pages. Would you ever, what happened? Were you trying to? I mean, you felt like the story's been told, us don't need just fluffing it. Just tell the story and bam, get out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly how I felt. A lot of these authors, most of them are under contracts with these huge publishing companies, and the contracts, from what I've learned and from what I've researched, they have to have a certain number of pages in order for it to qualify for their standard. Yeah, and so, that's the beauty with self-publishing and small independent publishers like Silvertongue Press. It doesn't matter if it's 180 pages or 200 pages or even 50 pages. If you feel like the story has been told, the story has been told. So,
that's right.
You set your own guidelines and you do what you want to do, and it's just, the whole process is just amazing.
That's right. Let's get on out of there. That's right, man. Very good, very good. What can we say about you, man? Young guy, just doing your thing. You're so young, Dominic. So what's next, man? I mean, I know you got your project, your hands full with the writing. You got Bella going on at the same time. You got your teaching. What's some of the other goals you like to accomplish, man? Before you become an old man at age 50.
Well, I just like to do what I'm doing right now. Keep writing and hopefully progress in my career. Someday be an inspiration to my family when I have a family. Someday, even to my grandchildren, possibly. Just keep the faith and pass down great stories and great ideas, and help keep this world turning.
That's right, man. I know your parents are proud of you, man. I'm proud of you. It's always good to see young guys doing that thing, because sometimes you look around and you're like, wow, is all the young guys locked up or in gangs, or it's like, where are they? And then you turn around and you find somebody out there that's making things happen out there, man. I really appreciate you coming out here and sharing your life, your story, your family, your work. And before we go, man, anything you'd like to say, to my audience, listening to the replay, anything, man, just drop it to them, man.
I just like to say thank you so much, Jerry, for having me. It's been a great honor. I hope to come back. And, one thing I like to tell people is, never give up on your dreams. Every dream is impossible until it comes true.
That's right, man. You're an example of that, man. Absolutely, we got to have you back when your next book is ready to be released. Just shoot us an email, text, instant message, whatever, wherever you can find us to get a hold of us. And just let us know, you was a past guest and you got another book out. Because it seems like everybody is just not stopping at one book anymore, I guess that's the great thing about well, I'm not sure if your people are doing that, but a lot of people are using like on-demand processes now through Amazon, or they order a few copies that they know they need to do book sign. Where before, going through traditional printers, you had to print like a minimum or a press run of 500 books. So that wiped out a lot of people right there. The money.
That's right.
That's right. All right. The internet has made everything happen, man. Made everything affordable. But it's funny. I'm not sure what you read when you were studying in college or high school. When you were studying, I guess man, I can't remember the period. I know it goes way back when the printing press and the Bible and those books were first introduced to society, that publishing was like a huge privilege to just the rich.
Oh yeah, just the super rich. Yeah, only the wealthy could read books, because most people who were poor, working farmers, couldn't read, working under. Yep. It's right.
Yep.
Yeah, it was only available to certain people.
Yeah, man. And now, like I said, I don't know the numbers of, I guess because you mixed in, you got your independents, which is hard to count, but I think Amazon probably could give a number. But I know the press, probably where you work, and they probably give a number. But I'm not even sure how many published authors there's out there in the world now. Because I know at one time, I think New York Times used to keep up with those numbers. You have any idea?
If I had to guess, I'd probably just say a lot.
Yeah, man. But I could give y'all the numbers of how many podcasters, man. 70 million podcasters, and then it's Jerry Royce Live. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. We thank Dominic for spending his time with us today, and we wish him very well with his work and everything he's doing out there. And I know he made his parents super proud. All right, Dominic, you take it easy, man, and thank you for being part of POWER21.org.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in to the Positive Power 21 Network. Team 21 would like to thank you all for tuning in. And please spread the word and tell a friend. This is Jerry Royce at Positive Power 21, where we get our positive on.
Positive Power 21.org, Internet Radio.
All right, that's a wrap. Thank you for joining us.